Awesome. Well, welcome to Preservice Chat. Good to see everybody. This week, I'm here with Mr. Rick Stangeland, who many of you may have seen, tippy tapping the old drum skins from week to week. It's always awesome playing with you on worship teams. And it's great to have you on the Preservice Chat today. I was about to say this morning, but it's not technically morning, I guess, where we are.
It will
But
be.
you have recently become entered into the retired life. Congratulations. Um, and so just let me know, how has that transition been going? What kinds of things have you been doing to fill up your time? What is life like now in the good old days of retirement?
Life is great. I would say the transition has also been great. Been at it
Good.
now for a few months. Before the final decision was made to retire, I was planning and mentally preparing for at least a year. So I feel like things have more or less gone according to plan, and I haven't had any big surprises. And time now loosely falls into about four buckets: family, hobbies, volunteering, and staying physically fit.
Ah, those are good four pillars. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on. So one thing that I've heard that you have become involved with recently is the Victoria Native Friendship Center. Um, yeah, tell us a little bit. How did that come about, and what kind of led you to become involved with that organization?
Okay. So volunteering with the Victoria Native Friendship Center came about as a result of, I think, three main things. The first being observations of injustice.
Of course.
Um, the second is getting tangentially involved in Indigenous work late in my career. And really, the third was seeking advice from an Indigenous friend as I approached retirement.
Hmm.
So, to expand on that a little bit, I'm one of these people who was blissfully ignorant about the truth of Canada's history with Indigenous peoples. And I'd say it's kind of sadly common among my generation. But as I grew up, fragments of news stories about Indigenous people would stick with me and carve a little notch in my belief system that told me that something was profoundly unjust with the historical treatment of Indigenous peoples in this country.
Yeah.
And however, raising a family and other aspects of life kind of kept those thoughts backburnered for me. And Micah 6:8 tells us to act justly and love mercy and walk humbly with God. And act justly really resonates with me. And it
Mm.
kept a bit of a flame alive under that backburnered belief of mine.
Yeah.
So a few years ago, while I was still working with the BC government, I was asked to serve on a committee that would operationalize 10 draft principles that guide the BC government's relationship with Indigenous peoples.
Oh, wow.
And starting from my place of ignorance, this work set me on really a profound learning journey. And the learning explored both the historic and modern day racism in Canada that is being perpetuated against Indigenous peoples, and also scratched the surface of the beauty and the wisdom in Indigenous cultures.
Hmm.
The more I learned, the more I knew that to act justly for me was to find a way to serve the local Indigenous community in my retirement.
Cool.
So, about a year ago, I was talking to an Indigenous friend of mine about the possibility of retiring and took the opportunity to ask her where she thought I could best serve the
Hmm.
Indigenous community in retirement. And she holds Native friendship centers in very high regard and suggested that I look for volunteer opportunities at the Victoria Native Friendship Center, build some relationships, and then see what develops from there.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. A few weeks after I retired, I popped into the Victoria Native Friendship Center and just asked, like, do you guys need volunteers? And how does that all work? So that's
Awesome.
that's what got me there.
Sometimes that's all we have to do, huh? We all just have to go in and be like, "Hey, yeah, what do you guys need help with?"
Indeed.
That's awesome. Very cool. Well, I love hearing just that journey that you've kind of been taken on over the last year or so. And I'm super interested about the Friendship Center. I'm not super familiar with the Victoria Native Friendship Center and what all they do. So, yeah, tell us a little bit more about the organization, what kinds of things that they do, and kind of what capacity you're able to serve in.
Right. I'm still very much on a learning journey there as well.
Yeah.
Um, the Victoria Native Friendship Center has been operating in the Greater Victoria area for over 50 years.
Okay.
And their mandate is to encourage and promote the well-being of urban Indigenous people
Okay.
um, through strengthening of individuals, family, and community. And they do that through programs that focus on family, health and wellness, careers, elder, youth, and other areas.
Okay.
So they, for example, run a daycare. They have a youth drop-in program. They help folks with food security issues and things like that.
Awesome.
And the Friendship Center also has a library that both supports literacy and endeavors to create opportunities for folks to gain a better understanding of Indigenous people's histories and cultures, and really the true impact of colonialization.
Right.
So I've signed on as a library volunteer at the Victoria Native Friendship Center's library.
Neat.
And duties are to be determined. It's been a bit of a lengthy process getting plugged in. A fabulous training program that they put on, which I've gone through, and the library is just coming up to speed. It's being closed for a long time through COVID,
Of course.
and so I haven't actually done any real work there other than entering my own credentials into their library system so I could take out a book.
Nice. That's awesome. Very cool. Well, this is so interesting. I love it. Maybe just finally before we break off for this, um, yeah, if you could give any kind of encouragement to anybody else who is maybe either wrestling with this idea, or they're really passionate about seeking reconciliation and just learning and unlearning with Indigenous peoples, what kind of encouragement might you give?
Yeah. Uh, well, first I'll say that I struggle with what reconciliation truly means and
Mm,
what my place is in it. I keep using this word journey over and over again, and that's just another little sub journey for me. Um, Indigenous historic and cultural education has helped me untangle that confusion a little bit. And I'd certainly encourage folks to pursue Indigenous learning opportunities.
mhm,
And for encouragement, I'd say, regardless of where you are in your journey of understanding and contributing to reconciliation with Indigenous peoples, know that you're not alone.
mm,
Um, when I first started talking to colleagues and friends and family about the committee work that I had started doing with the BC government a few years ago, I was truly amazed by both the conversational uptake and the tremendous support and encouragement
hmm,
I received from people. And that included some very tangible advice, things like books to read, courses to take, and such. And kind of as a side note, I'd be happy to share any of this with anybody that would care to chat with me.
cool.
It really has been a profound learning journey for me. Um, the last word of encouragement would be come back around to Micah 6:8.
Mm,
And think about that as you work out your personal role in reconciliation. So act justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with God. And I don't know if that's the whole recipe for reconciliation, but I can't believe for a moment that it's not a huge part of it.
Yeah, totally. Well, we would definitely agree with you here at SBC. So it's really encouraging to hear some of your journey. Hopefully, it is an encouragement to others too. And so, thanks for joining us on the pre-service chat. If anybody is interested in getting in touch with Rick, email our office. We'd love to put you in touch with him and get you chatting if you need to, yeah, find resources or connect over that. So, yeah, thanks for joining us, and have a good week, everybody.
Bye.